This Daytona 500 recap and live reaction show episode here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Kalshi. Kalshi is the money, or it's, well, I'm telling you what, Kalshi is amazing, and it is available in all 50 states, so make sure you get in there. New customers get $20 if you use our promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, SGPN, promo code.
Drivers, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and as you can tell, we are still working out kinks, but whatevs, man. It's the live recap show. The Daytona 500 just happened, Cody. This is the first time I think we've really done one of these episodes fresh off the heels of an actual race, so we get to remember everything, first and foremost. Second of all, we're raw emotion on this one.
Yeah, live reaction. I mean, the race just ended within the last hour. What a race. What a finish in the Daytona 500. Congratulations to Michael Jordan, Daytona 500 champion. Oh, and Tyler Reddick too, Rod. We're back. I told you, it's the year of Tyler Reddick. We're back. Let's go. We had some heartbreak at the very end. Hocevar was there. He had a shot, Rod. And then when he didn't get it, we're saved. Chase Elliott's got us. But not so fast, my friends. What a race. What a finish. What a weekend. NASCAR is back. Hell yeah. Let's fucking go.
Hell yeah, indeed. Let me tell you, I got to say, this had just about everything that you could possibly want out of a Daytona 500. It had all of the thrills and spills of super speedway racing, all of the frustrations of super speedway racing, mixed in with all of the glory of a finish that you cannot predict whether or not you I'm telling you, it's so crazy. I loved it, but there were parts of it that I was pissed off about. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on to unpack in this Daytona 500. But like you said, my friend, congratulations to Tyler Reddick. Absolutely 1000% worthy of being the Daytona 500 champion because he was at the right place at the right time when he needed to be and made all the right moves. But really, it's funny because as part of this race was going on, I said there's 3 2311 cars in the top 10 and not one of them is Tyler Reddick. Well, guess what? There was one 2311 car in the top. Well, Bubba Wallace, I guess, ended up in the top 10, but and yeah.
Oh, they got 3. Riley Herbst was up there too. Our guy Herbst, long shot we gave out, cashed the top 10 on him, gave him out as a long shot to win this race. He was right there with a shot at the end. That's what you want out of these guys. I mean, it really did work out.
It really did indeed. All right, so listen, it's right about here where I put in the promo that we have the Daytona 500 contest that happened this weekend. But I'll do you one better, Cody. We actually got winners from that contest and winners from all the stuff going on.
Yes, we do have Daytona 500 winners. So nobody picked Tyler Reddick, Rod. So we had to go to second place, Ricky Stenhouse, who also didn't get picked. And so third place, Shane McAvoy is your winner. He is the only one who selected Joey Logano. So we are going to give him the first place prize. So congrats, Shane. You won the Daytona 500 contest. So we'll be in contact through via email. So make sure you pay attention to that and respond when we get hold of you. Gets the $100 cash, $100 gift card. And then, Rod, we were given the task of by Kramer, of course, to pick our favorite comments on Spotify, because that was part of entering the contest. And those winners would get Race Officials or Terrorist shirts. So for me, I would like to congratulate one JDK. He commented, Carson Earnhardt Jr. Hocevar will conquer the 500. And then also commented, I love, quote unquote, the insight. There's no beating around the bush, quote unquote, with these two host of ours, like host of ours, right? So lights, pool, some green chase, some bets, some Lauren Joy, and start an amazing season. So yes, but got all the puns in there, got all the drivers included. So congratulations, JDK. Again, you will also be one of the selected winners for winning the t-shirt.
Yeah, that was a hell of a lot of puns in that particular one. Don't know that I could have done all of that in one, but good job, JDK.
The time and effort put into that, worth the t-shirt in and of itself.
Indeed. Hey, of all the tabs that I kept clicking around, I'm hard pressed to find the name of the winner that I picked. I know it was Candy. I can't remember her last name right now. So
Candy Handyside.
Candy Handyside is my pick, and hers was basically saying that her husband turned her on to the show. So for that, Candy, we welcome all the new listeners, and we also want to hook up your husband with a terrorist or t-shirt, or terrorist or refs are terrorist t-shirts, because race officials are terrorists.
Rod will get it eventually. The Daytona, seeing Carson Hocevar be so good at the Daytona 500 really just has Rod all sorts of baffled. So
yeah, it's like I've never done this show before.
Congrats to Candy. Congrats to her husband. Then we had a hoodie, a random hoodie to give away. We drew names quickly before we got on here, so we didn't have to do that live because that could be a disaster. Frank the Tank hoodie winner. So we'll be in touch with all the winners of the Daytona 500 contest. Shout out to them. Congratulations. And don't worry, plenty of other contests. We still have the fantasy league for the yearly going on. You'll be a week behind, but if you want to jump in that, try and catch up, you're certainly more than welcome. Hit us up. And then, I'm sure we'll have more contests as the season goes on. You got the in-season challenge again this year with the tournament thing. And then we'll have Chase down the road and stuff. So always good contests. Bosses always do a great job about that.
Indeed. For those of you who are in the Discord waiting to call in, we see you. We know we will get to you in just a second, but let's check in on the chat right now. Nev09 saying NASCAR is officially back, folks.
It's beautiful. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful weekend. What a beautiful day. NASCAR moved the start time up an hour. It was perfect. There was raindrops in Victory Lane. Like it seems like multiple years in a row we've had delays, issues. We got the whole thing and we didn't have to worry about it. It wasn't shortened. What a great start to the year.
What a great start indeed. Mark is saying that his driver, Christopher Bell ended up in 35th, unfortunately. And then Expert Suck was saying that runtime he doesn't bet Reddick. Yeah,
maybe you're the
always
problem.
high on Reddick.
Expert Suck. Yeah. So if you could not bet him again.
What do we got? The Lights Yoko saying so close to Hocevar with Kosovar.
It was perfect. He ran the perfect race. He stayed in the back, stayed out of trouble, stayed out of the way. You didn't hear his name. He wasn't causing problems like Connor Zillich. He was just out of the way, minding his own business. Then, boom, in second place with a shot, takes the lead. Eric Jones, I'm calling you to the hauler. You stupid motherfucker. Why would you wreck everybody right there? It cost us our car lift, cost us the host of our win.
It's okay. I was giving you a chance to catch your breath, but No, I will not give Eric Jones any whatsoever because Carson Hocevar should have known better than to try to get cattywampus. He was in a weird position. He put himself in a position where it wasn't in the high line, wasn't in the low line. So his inexperience at leading the pack in super speedway races cost him the win. Not to Eric Jones.
He got dumped. Okay, Rod, real quick before we hit a break here. If you want to call in, we're taking calls live. Anybody can call in. First time listener to the show, long time listener, doesn't matter. Head over to the Discord. We got the link pinned in the chat here. Just click on that link. It'll take you over to the Discord. You can jump in there, click on the little calendar of the event, raise your hand in there. Rowdy, see you with your hand up. We'll get to you here in a second. Call in. We want to hear your reactions. What bets did you hit? What bets did you not hit? What did you think about the race? What did you like? What didn't you like? You got to call somebody to the holler like Eric Jones. Get on the call. Get on the Discord call and let's do it.
Yes, let's do it indeed. All right, let's do all of that because I want to do all of that, but I want to get this out of the way first. Before we do all of that, I want to tell you about our friends over at Kalshi. Kalshi is a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. Kalshi's got a ton of trading options for your favorite sports. Besides sports, they've got tons of other politics, entertainment, hell, you can even trade on the weather with Kalshi. You can trade on absolutely any. I've been hammering this home, and I really want to continue on it because I want someday for us to prove that there are aliens in this world. And so with Kalshi, you can trade on whether or not U.S. will confirm that aliens will exist before 2027. I'm telling you, because the market keeps moving. You guys are moving this market. The yes is now 19 cents. It was like 16 cents when we first started giving this out. Now it's at 19 cents. So people want it now. $53 on a $10 investment when the aliens are confirmed by the United States government. So go jump in on that. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Want to also give a special shout out to our friend on Twitter, Charles, who actually used our promo code and won by picking Tyler Reddick to win this race and trading on it, and got himself a nice little return on his investment. So congratulations. It works, folks, and he is living proof. So let's tell you about Rebet. We're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is the #1 social sportsbook and casino out there. It's available in 35 or more states, including Texas and California. Go get in on the action with Rebet. Plus, get a 100% purchase match up to $100 with promo code SGPN. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN. See? People using it every day and working. So, all right. Let's get to the phone lines. I want to bring in, I don't know if this is the first time or if he's actually been on it before, but let's invite Rowdy up to speak.
He did call in and give us the prediction of Kyle Busch to win the championship, of course. Unfortunately, still chasing that elusive Harley J. Earl trophy. But, Rowdy, you are on the line. Welcome to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
First, we hit Chris Buescher top 10 off a $50 bonus bet on King of the End Zone. Sorry, Cody, but it was against the Patriots. So we hit that one.
Well, I'm glad something good came out of that Super Bowl.
already taking Cody to the mat.
Also, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Hocevar got what he deserved.
This is what I love about Rowdy. Him and I agree on so much when it comes to this. But listen, Rowdy, here's my take on it. And I know you and I kind of have the same thing going on, right? Because there's so many drivers that you blame for so many different things. Yet when Hocevar does the same thing, it is the double standard. And JDK called me out for having a double standard yesterday. I said, look, we're Americans. We're all about double standards. That's the precise measurement we use when we talk about things. But you're absolutely right. And that was earlier in the race too, when Allgaier did that, and it was Allgaier's fault for scooting up on and ruining.
That was with
line.
175 laps to go, not the 2 laps to go. You don't know. It's different with 2 laps to go than with 3/4 of the race left, Rod. You don't
Rowdy,
block like a stupid motherfucker with 100 laps left when there's only 2 laps left. It's completely different.
But we're mad at Eric Jones because he was trying to go for the win with 2 laps to go. And
and if that would have been Carson Hocevar, I would have been very happy for him.
Dale Senior.
You see what I'm saying?
It's America. We're allowed to have double standards.
What was that about Dale Senior?
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, we were just saying, what was that about Dale Sr.?
Everyone wants to claim Hocevar the next Dale Sr., quote unquote.
I'm telling you, listen, this is what happens when you put somebody on a pedestal like that, especially on a car lift, and you expect them to get you all the way to the top, and they don't. But love it, Rowdy.
So close. Anything else you got for us, Rowdy?
All I gotta say is NASCAR is fucking back. If it wasn't for Allgaier, he should go back to the O'Reilly Series. Maybe KB would have won that race, but he got caught up in that fucking wreck, and on that pit stop, he had to make some fucking adjustments.
It was rough. I'm telling you, it was a rough day for a lot of different people. But Rowdy, look forward to a long season of having fun with you, not just here, but on the Discord. Thank you for calling in, my friend. And let's have a good one. Let's hope KB gets one before it's all said and done. All right, let's continue to move on. All right, so let's talk about this race as we've got some folks in there. JDK, I know, is on the line. Hang tight, JDK. Let's talk about how this sort of shook out. We did have, like you said, Tyler Reddick won. Late caution sort of set this all up and made it to where it was a shootout again. Although that, to me, Cody, that pissed me off more than anything is that, again, we had another little late caution going on that sort of made this into what it was. The whole pit sequence, the last pit sequence was so discombobulated. It was just weird.
Which was kind of great. I mean, it was setting up to be exciting because you had, the Toyotas were controlling everything. They had everybody slowed down. They purposely fanned out so nobody could pass. Like, they were controlling everything, and then they pit, and just by themselves, they don't execute coming off great. Then Ford does the same thing, and suddenly Chevy's like, oh, we got all these cars, all right? And that's where I was feeling really good because now you got the field spread out. It's not when they get bunched up, that's when they wreck, obviously. But you get everybody spread out. Hocevar is right there. I think he was third. Well, McDowell was leading by half of the track. I don't even know. I'm not even sure. I looked up and I'm like, how is McDowell leading way out there? I don't even know what happened for him to get in that position. Great for him. But I was just like, okay, whatever. And then, so it was setting up to be interesting with the field kind of spread out. But obviously then we get the wreck, it really bunches things up, and you get the 4-lap shootout. And at least I guess we didn't have to go to 8 overtimes to decide it and extend the race another hour and a half. Sometimes that can be good especially for the bets, but it really, the way it played out was pretty interesting. I mean, we had the different guys get the runs. In the final 2 laps, you thought 8 different guys were going to win it. It was like, oh, Hocevar, here he comes. He's got the chance. Like, I just kept saying, get to the white, get to the white, get to the white. He takes the white flag. I'm like, okay, wreck everybody. Like, hurry up. Then he gets wrecked, right? NASCAR, great job to them. We didn't have to pull out the T-shirts. They kept it green. That was beautiful. Everybody was out of the way. They seemed to be okay. Let's let this race finish out. Here comes Stenhouse. Holy shit, he's going to be a 2-time Daytona 500 winner. Then Chase Elliott. Oh, my God, he's going to finally get one. Then Tyler Reddick. You get Riley Herbst with the move. Like, they crash as they come to the line. It played out extremely beautifully from a fan perspective of excitement and you didn't know who was going to win until really Reddick got that shot right there at the end and crossed over and just kind of left Riley hanging. And but it was great. I thought it was a great ending.
Indeed. All right, let's bring JDK onto the stage. JDK, let's see what you got to say. I know, again, this is another one of our Discord favorites that loves to have this conversation, especially him and Rowdy. They love to go back and forth. To TK, welcome in to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Again, we are excited to talk to you, my friend.
Gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Boys, Daytona 500, we're back in action. Just got to say, Colin, Toyota, Eric Jones, Sam Air, all to the hauler. You guys are trash. Toyota going out there, running 55% throttle, 3 wide, holding up the entire field like it's a Sunday drive, was an absolute abomination of what racing is. As for Hocevar, the kid went out there, crushed it. He's racing a car. He's not driving a car. Kyle Busch still sucks. Best bet of the weekend was the driver in the pole position was not going to win the Daytona 500. And that, my man, was Kyle Busch.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was it. But here, listen, okay, this brings up a much larger conversation that I've been wanting to have, and maybe this might be the time and place for it. But how are you crushing it when your average running position was 26.1 the whole time? Like, literally, the reason that he made it to
Did
third.
You listen to any of the stats at the end of the race? Whoa, Last year's winner was running 26th at this point in time. 2020 or 2016's winner was running 19th at this time.
I get it.
You hang back.
But it's not about crushing it, though.
You put
like
yourself
crushing
in position. He was leading on the last lap. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
God.
Until you have Eric Jones behind you, decide and just right. Like you get Eric Jones back there. Who knows what he's doing? That was one of the the dumbest moves ever. Besides Riley Herbst, the end just straight up throwing a block on Brad Keselowski for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Like good on Tyler Reddick. He won. Just yeah, and justifiably so. And Allgaier, man, that was bad news.
Look, all I'm saying is that I'm still not going to give him credit until he actually dominates a race. Like 26th is not crushing it. 26th is doing what you need to do. I will give him that because we do give Denny credit for hanging back out of the mix. But like, was he really hanging back or did he suck that badly? Like that's what you really want to know because he was in 30th like almost the entire day. Like you don't just spend time back there because you want to.
Sure you do. We've seen it a million times, especially from guys like Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano.
Yeah, but he'll come up and go back, come up and go back. Like, yeah, I don't know.
But then you get guys like SVG who was actually running up front for a good chunk of the time, and then he gets into a stupid wreck because of another stupid driver, and then he ends up at the back, whereas the guys at the back, in the long run, look at William Byron. He came back to be right up there after having one of the hardest Daytona 500s he's ever had to have.
That was crazy.
And like, so is staying in the back the best option and just avoiding the chaos until you've done 499 laps?
Apparently not, because where did Hocevar end up?
Leading on the last lap, Rod. That's where he ended up.
Hey, I'm just saying, yeah, the strategy may have worked, but it didn't because where did Hocevar end up? Not in first place at the end of the race. So it didn't matter where he ran most of the race. He still finished where he finished. But God, this is going to be such a fun conversation all year long. I love you, JDK. So much fun talking to you.
Andrew checking in too, live from the track.
Chris Buescher keeping it real. Yeah. So Chris Buescher keeping it real. The guy is like the best top 10er at the Daytona 500. Have a good night, boys. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right, you too,
Thanks,
sir.
JDK.
Love it.
Yeah, Andrew checking in. He was live at the track. Enjoyed a beautiful race there. Says, love the accent, JDK. Getting a little Canada in there. And congrats on the winning the T-shirt, JDK, with your beautiful comments. So we'll be in touch about that. He's actually already sent me his. He was very confident about his comment and already sent me his address.
Hey, listen, when you put that much thought into a comment, and let that be a lesson to those of you out there who, when we do another comment contest, because that's exactly the kind of comment we're looking for, is trying to get a little creative with things. So yeah, so then let's talk about another aspect of this race that I really want to get into, and that was the concept of this fuel saving, right? This idea of, and I know BJ McLeod sort of brought it up earlier in the week too, where he was talking about, I don't like this running half throttle, running 3/4 throttle, 75% of this race. Let's go out, put our foot to the stake. Why can't we come up with a strategy to where we race instead of just ride around for 75, 80 laps trying to conserve fuel and then run like bats out of hell for 2 laps at a time? Like, why can't we come up with a strategy for that? I don't know the answer to that because I'm not a mechanic, Cody, but why do I feel like there should be more racing on a super speedway rather than just riding around and allowing for guys to be in 26th place and then finally have a shot at the end to win?
Yeah, so I think a couple things here. I think fortunately and unfortunately, we've gotten so smart and everything is down to, we can measure everything out and we have all this data and it's just endless amounts of data and everything is going to say the smartest play is save fuel. And so that's where we're at, right? And there's probably no way to come back from that in an aspect of that being the quote unquote smart way to play it, because even if you add another stage, well, now it's about saving fuel so that we have to put less fuel in next stop so that we have a quicker stop so that we get out faster so that we can save fuel so that we have a quicker stop so that, and so it's just an endless cycle and circle. So that's, I guess, part of the issue. Now, I thought Clint Boyer made a great point on the broadcast. If everybody is running the same speed, we're all saving the same amount of fuel here. How are the guys in the back going to get to the front? Now, it ended up working out for them mostly because of the amount of people that went to pit road. I don't think it was because they saved more fuel necessarily. I think it was because The Toyotas pitted by themselves and didn't do it well. The Fords pitted by themselves, didn't do it well. And there's just a lot of Chevys in the field. So I think that was why that kind of worked out. But I think you have to get to a point where there's enough people who get together. You need a group of however many guys it is that says, F this. We are going to just go for it. And they have to go to the front and go and run hard. And we saw in the first stage where multiple people who were in control of the pack decided we're not going to let these guys save fuel. They are going to have to go race. And they pushed hard enough that everybody had to pit or they ran out of fuel, right? So, well, actually not everybody, because they ended up being a group of guys that did save enough. But their goal was to push them to not be able to save it. So we did see some of the reverse of that, of let's make them go race for it, right? So I think you have to have a team or a manufacturer or a group that comes into the race and says, this is our plan, just goes to the front, it goes balls to the wall. But clearly Toyota's was the opposite, right? Let's go get up there and block every lane. And then it's hard when you're 3 wide. How are you supposed to make a 4th lane? How are you supposed to make a run? It's just that holds everybody up quite literally and makes it hard to be able to, jump past that strategy.
Yeah, and that's the most frustrating part about all of that is that now we can see it too. That's another thing. As advanced as they've gotten in the, I guess, analyzing of the situations, they've gotten more advanced in showing us as well. So like we see this, and we get frustrated as race fans because we see throttle 50%, 52%. We're like, oh my God, mash the gas down, damn it, right?
Yeah, well, I think some of that too, like if they didn't show us all that, I think a lot of people might not be able to tell. I think
exactly
the people who are really into it you can kind of tell what's going on. And clearly, like JDK pointed out in the Discord, they really were just riding, and you could tell like there wasn't racing, it was just riding. And it's unfortunate, but at the same time, like it does all come into play. So while that might be quote unquote boring, like that part of it all set up how we got to the end, right? Because okay, they do that, but then the Toyotas probably had to pit early because even though they were saving, they were out front, so they're burning it quicker. They have to come in. They don't get partners in Chevrolet or Ford to go with them. It creates all this disruption, and then it ends up being where, yes, a lot of the Chevys ended up flipping the strategy, but actually one of the Toyotas that I believe pitted with the Chevys in Tyler Reddick is one of the guys who ends up getting up there. So I think it all kind of balances out and works out in the end. And I don't know. At least it wasn't the single file we had at one point in time in past Daytona races. Like, at least they're going 3 wide. You had the wind gusts in there, bobbling guys around, changing things up. I mean, you're still on the edge of your seat as far as they could wreck even while they're quote unquote saving fuel because one little slip up. So you get that part of it, yes, but it's one of those things where analytics data has gotten so far. I don't know that there's ever a way to there's no way to completely rein it back in. It'll just be about bucking the system. And, like we talked about with the Indy 500 the other day, where somebody just says, with Simon Pagenaud 2019 just says, I'm going for it. That's the deal. Here we go. And hopefully you get some other takers. And then that just kind of adjusts things and it goes from there.
And I'll tell you this though, when we look at this, the way the last set of pit stops broke out, right? There's got to be more communication. I don't know how 4 Toyotas come down and the other ones stay out. Like on super speed, especially like Talladega and those kind of places, we really do see more cooperation between the manufacturers.
Yeah, the manufacturer question is interesting. Was it just the Gibbs Toyotas? I can't remember.
Oh, it was
because they weren't all left, so it was some of the legacy ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Jimmie,
and I don't know if part of that
Jimmie didn't come in with the rest of them. Like he stayed out, and so I think so did Eric Jones stayed out.
Which I wonder if part of that is where they're positioned on the track, might not be able to get down. If you're farther back, and then you're pitting too far behind, you're going to get strung out. Potentially those things come in, but yeah, you would hope and think that even though Toyota is a smaller contingent, and that would actually make more sense for them to make sure they bring all their cars. I mean, we saw it with Chevy, even did it with the RCR alliance early on. Kyle Busch, yeah, this new crew chief might have brought some speed in qualifying, Rowdy, but what the fuck is he doing being the only car not getting any fuel early on in the race? Like, what are you doing? And luckily bailed out by RCR and their affiliates because, Ty Dillon's going to pit now too, even though he doesn't need to because Grandpa's car is an idiot and we got to fix it. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, interesting, but I don't know.
Couple of things from the chat real quick. R.E. Tro J saying exciting day to have Hocevar, even if it didn't pan out.
Oh, we were so close, Rod. My daughter after she goes, "Are you okay?" I was like, no, I'm not okay. By the way, we made a bet. She wanted to have a little wager on the thing. So as they were doing the pace laps, I'm like, well, pick which car you think is the prettiest. It was Kyle Busch's car starting up front. So we had the Busch versus Hocevar head-to-head for $1. So as soon as the race was over, she's like looking down the thing and she goes, I won. And I go, he is still grayed out. He hasn't crossed the line yet. And then Hocevar jumped over him on the running board. And I go, oh, and she goes, no. And then Busch crossed the line and I was like, damn, here's your $1, kid. But it was, you got to train him young. And it was great. But I went through all the emotions on like the Hocevar thing. The car lift was going to cash. Even if he didn't win, we were going to hit multiple legs of it. And then Elliott, I'm like, fine. Once Hocevar's gone, I'm like, okay, Chase Elliott's got this. Let's go. Like, just turned into an immediate Chase Elliott fan. And then, and I still love Tyler Reddick, even though I didn't have any money on the man.
It was fun, though. I had fun watching the likes of Corey Heim lead this race. I had fun watching Connor Zilic do well in the very early parts of this race. I had fun watching Zane Smith
Rod.
win.
What do you, I guess
he was running up front for a while, and then he wasn't.
He was until he sucked.
Yeah.
Rookie mistakes.
But
I love that Joy wasn't even done comparing him to Jeff Gordon before he just takes out half the field. He's like, this kid, biggest prospect since Jeff. Boom, there goes everybody. And he's like Gordon. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's really working out well.
Announcers jinx 100% of it. Brian Twiney saying, what up, guys? The hell yeah movement is off to an amazing start. What a 500.
This 500 just felt so different. Like, I don't know, the build up, the lead up, like, I'm always excited for the 500, but I was more excited this year. It just felt like, and I think we saw it throughout the race. Like, yeah, we had that point that we just talked about where it was 3 wide and they weren't really doing much, but there was a lot of people making moves and stuff was, moving and shaking. Like, there was some big wrecks. That's part of the race. Like, it's just hell yeah, Brian.
Hell yeah. And then big shout out to the NASCAR producers too. There's a lot that goes into picking out music, bumper music for in and out of commercials. They were nailing it on this broadcast. I don't know, Cody. I think you're right. Maybe we are into a new era in NASCAR, but it really does feel like it. The graphics are updated. Just feels like a huge, gigantic breath of fresh air. And I'm all here for it. And yeah, that was pretty good from an overall standpoint, a pretty good production standpoint.
Brian had a great day. Up 4.5 unit or 4.8 units after less than a unit because of Red Dog. Also, he says best 500 in the Gen 7 era. Fight me.
I don't
think we're going to fight you, buddy. I agree. I think this was great. Things have been going well. So, all right, Rod, what do you say we take a quick break and start recapping some of the bets?
I love that idea. I think we should do that after I tell you about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdogs, Pick'em has got you covered for almost every single sport out there. Get in on Underdog, and you can win 5,000 times your entry. Certainly hope that you got in on Underdog for the Daytona 500. Lots of great finishing positions on that one as well. I know we couldn't get them all to you, but we definitely got you some that we liked a little bit, at least what we thought was going to happen. And of course, the Olympics are out there. Make sure you go taking advantage of the Olympics all season long. Underdog's got brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $75 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. Let's talk about Rhythm. It's been crushing and it's been on a heater. Really crushing it, not just crushing it like Hocevar's crushing it. On NBA and the college picks, super easy to sign up. All you got to do is run predictions off the house model, or you can make your own and play with the sliders. If you're looking to go premium, use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download Rhythm, use promo code SGPN. Yeah, absolutely love it. And then, also what I love about this Daytona 500, it's the first in the chase era again. And I don't know if that changed everybody's philosophies on how to run this race, but it certainly feels like it could have.
Yeah, and then we saw Austin Dillon out there running a modified, just putzing around, and the field would just blow by him. Like, that guy just, like, that has to be the weirdest. Like, you're still a NASCAR driver, you're in the Daytona 500, but you're just out for a Sunday drive, just really slow. You pull down, and you just keep on going. It's just like, but hey, that's good old points racing. That's what we wanted, right? That's what everybody wanted back. We got it. Fix that shit up. Throw some duct tape on it. Rip the bumper off. Go out there and log some laps at half speed. It's fine.
How about Austin Cindric pretty much driving sideways the entire rest of the race out there? Like literally he looked like he was driving with his wheels pointed right, but his steering wheel pointed left. That was for most of the race. People were putting by him and Cindric's probably driving like this, but his car is just going like that. It's amazing. John saying fared better in DFS at Daytona than he does on any track. Stack the back at super speedways. Pays off. Also, listen, if you're in for a little bit of Gen X alternative rock chat, during the points in the race where there's a lot of 3 wide and no passing, John and I are good for that.
Everybody's having just a conversation about the race and strategy, and John and Rod are just going back about alternative rock. And I'm like, oh, hey, whatever.
Hey, when you play the Smiths on a broadcast, I'm going to call you out on it. So
all are welcome in there. So Hunter says he's a Reddick fan, but upset because he had an 80-1 on Zane Smith. Trust me, I've been there plenty of times where you don't know what's at points you get conflicted. Like, am I rooting for my bet here? Am I rooting for my driver here? What's the plan? What's the case? I don't know. But all right, Rod, let's jump into some of these bets. Reminder, if you want to call in, voice your opinions, your concerns, your whatever, join the Discord over there. We will get you on the line. Poll bets started out, we had Larson 16-1, Byron 28-1, Hocevar at 50-1, Allgaier at 100-1, Lajoie at 150-1. This I felt like was a pretty good card. And also gave out Chevy like on the Super Bowl one. I gave that out. I gave that out in the 91 bets in 91 days. RIP to that. That's finally over, Rod. But so the Chevy bet cashed at least. Larson made it to the second round. Byron was a big disappointment. Hocevar was very fast. He made it to the second round, so felt good about that. Allgaier and Lajoie were extremely fast as well. They were very close to making it to the second round. Did Allgaier? I can't remember. I don't think Allgaier made it to the second round. Doesn't matter, I guess. But either way, like they both had speed. Obviously, Lajoie misses Allgaier by 0.0004 and takes away his entire chance to race today, which was unfortunate. But I felt pretty good about this card. Longer shots, you're sprinkling stuff. Had some guys in the running. Chevy was the correct call, which was all of those bets except for Lajoie. So didn't hit any, but I don't feel terrible about any of the bets there. Byron at 28-1, even though he didn't make the second round, like it's a Hendrick car at 28-1 at Daytona in the 500 specifically. I'm not going to hate having that bet and missing it.
Yeah, and the same pretty much with the Bowman and Elliott poll that I had. Both of them were 20-1, and obviously both of those looked pretty good as we went into things. So, we just missed it, obviously, with both of these guys, or pretty much all of these guys. But I would not have shied away from any of them again, because I feel like at 20-1, it was 100% the right bet to make, especially if they would have hit. So, sometimes you just don't see a Kyle Busch poll coming, and unfortunately, that's what happened. So, John Little, how soon is now, Cody? He doesn't get that, John. He doesn't.
No, I'm probably too young and not the right genre for that. So, by the way, TK pointed out Heim was the only open car that made it to the second round. Heim had a very impressive weekend. I mean, does end up kind of making the rookie mistake, taking out his boss. That's an unfortunate deal there when you wreck Denny. But he looked really good. I mean, qualifying was very fast, looked good in the duels, and then in the race was up there mixing it up and leading obviously is part of that strategy to slow the field down for a while, but looked good, kind of shaking it up throughout the day. Rookie mistakes come in late, which is rookie mistakes are part of it. We talk about that, and that's what I talked about with Ty Gibbs over Connor Zilic. Gibbs was caught up in a fair amount of stuff throughout the day. Where did Gibbs end up coming in at the end of the day? He 23rd.
All the way back to 23rd.
Yeah, I mean, an okay finish. Got caught up. I think he was in multiple of those wrecks, but never out of it. Whereas Zilic, kind of, I guess he did finish the race, but went to the garage for a bit there after causing that big pile up. Ends up 5 laps down. So not really much of a sweat on this one. That one pretty easily cashed. I had Larson over Cindric as well. Cindric traditionally has, while he's won this race before, hasn't always gotten to the end of things. And why am I having such trouble reading this? Where did Cindric place? He ended up 32nd, like you said, 7 laps down. I mean, got caught up in it early, and that's just been the case with Cindric in this race. That's why I faded him. And hey, first time I bet on Kyle Larson on a super speedway, cashes the bet for me. I'll take it plus 105. So swept the head-to-heads there, which makes me feel good because as we know how tricky head-to-heads can be on drafting track, Daytona in particular. So, feel good about that. Both plus money head-to-heads. good way to kind of kick off the card for the race picks.
Really good way to kick off the card. I also had one. I hit one of two of these ones, and both of them could have hit had things gone right. But Suarez over McDriver. Of course, McDowell was one of the drivers that was fighting up there in front, and very real possibility.
How did he even get the lead where he would? Do you know what happened? Like, I don't.
Well, it was all the pits. I'm telling you, it was the pit cycles. He didn't pit. And then all of a sudden the caution came out and it gave him the opportunity to pit again. But I don't know how he got back out in front.
Yeah, because not everybody pitted then. So that's what I don't know. I was confused. I don't know. Like, I was paying attention. There was some other stuff going on. Family was talking and stuff too. So I wasn't 100% locked in, but I was just like, how is he leading that far ahead? So but whatever that strategy was, clearly worked out well for them. Luckily, you were able to cash this head to head.
Well, it didn't work out well for them at all because Michael McDowell ends up in 22nd place, whereas Daniel Suarez looked out like
they had a shot. How did he not pit, TK? That's what I don't understand. They made it all the way on fuel?
Yeah, they said he was still three laps to the good, so he probably could have made an overtime he didn't pit at all. Boy. That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember them saying you're 3 laps to the good, so I was like, okay, but yeah, unfortunately that didn't pan out for him, especially being in the front at the end.
Hell of a call, though. I mean, for them to get. Like, it worked out. Like, you have to get a caution there for that to work out, right? Otherwise, the field's going to catch him. They'll blow by, and it's not going to matter. And, not running caution laps, he might run out anyways. But for it to work out and have the shot at winning a second Daytona 500, which he did, was props to them on making the call. Obviously, doesn't work out, but yeah, that's crazy.
Indeed. So, yeah, Daniel Suarez finished better than his teammate McDriver, and if I'm looking here, finished better than his teammate Carson Hocevar as well. So I could have taken Suarez over Hocevar. That'd have been fantastic. The second one that I had that didn't cash out for us was Kyle Busch over Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski finishing in 5th. Kyle Busch, a respectable 15th. I mean, look, Brad Keselowski was the recipient of that entire that tire kerfuffle that was the pit stops, right? Everything was going crazy, and the Fords came in. They were actually the more organized out of the manufacturers were the Fords. So they
were organized coming in, but coming out was their problem.
Yeah,
they were very unorganized when they came, which it's hard. Like, that's the hard part to choreograph, obviously. Mm-hmm. But if they get too spread out, it makes it very difficult.
Yeah. So unfortunately, yeah, that didn't pan out for us. Busch did not finish better than Brad Keselowski, and I mean, listen. The call was sort of right. I mean, Busch was the fast car. Busch qualified well, but I think really, Cody, you had pointed out earlier that call did not come in when everybody else came in. That basically sealed his day. He should have come in with everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly was back up in the mix a bit throughout after that, but just I just didn't understand. They sort of got bailed out by the way things fell there, but yeah, very interesting. Top 10s took a couple of longer shots again. Top 10 market not what it used to be. AJ Allmendinger plus 330. Was AJ Allmendinger in this race, Rod?
They showed him once because he had the 16. They did because he had the 16
on lap 16. Yes. So on lap 16, which that was great, doing the silent lap for lap 3 for Earnhardt, 25 years, and then for Biffle, of course, who we just lost. Those were great, but that is the only time I saw AJ Allmendinger all day long. I couldn't tell you what else happened to him. I couldn't tell you a single thing about where he was running all day. I have no idea. I have no recollection of AJ Allmendinger being in this race after lap 16. He finished 19th, so I guess he was running at the end. That's great. But yeah, that's all I got for you.
Okay, hang on. Let me ask you this then. Okay, AJ Allmendinger's average running position was 22. I'm sorry, that was they don't have his average running position right now, but so he finished one spot ahead of Carson Hocevar, who had the better race.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar. He had a chance to win the Daytona 500. AJ Allmendinger, nobody even knows was in the race.
But they could have said the same thing about Carson Hocevar until the last 7 laps.
No,
if Hocevar would have finished 19th,
I was paying attention, but I certainly saw where Hocevar was all day. Right?
I'm just saying. Listen, I know we're in America and double standards rule, but I'm still saying AJ Allmendinger stayed out of trouble, finished one spot better than Carson Hocevar. He had the better day. But anyways, keep going.
Okay, moving on. Riley Herbst top 10 plus 480, plus 460 rather. But yeah, like this worked out. He ended up being there at the end, and that was the whole point of this, right? Is he's the type of guy who, if he can survive, can put himself in position, and that's exactly what happened. He survived that last lap chaos. He is the reason. If Riley Herbst was not there, Tyler Reddick does not win this. As much as you want to give him shit for that. Block on Brad, I get it, whatever, fine. But Tyler Reddick, absolutely not a Daytona 500 champion without Riley Herbst having the push that he gave him there and giving him that beautiful big run that he gave Reddick to take the lead. So he better be buying Riley Herbst some really nice fucking Christmas presents in February, because goddamn, like it's all all because of him. But Riley ends up cashing the top 10 for us. So this really helps alleviate some of the other bets that didn't cash, right? Hit a couple of the head-to-heads, hit the top 10 with Riley at plus 460. So got a good number on there. But yeah, Riley just doing what he does. Hang on. It doesn't have to be up in the mix all day. That's not what you're looking for from that type of driver. I don't think he was too much. We kind of saw him throughout the day a little bit more so than Allmendinger, but ends up being there at the end of the day with a shot at it, right? And we had him at 125-1 to win too, which was, you feel great about that, having a guy in second place on the last lap at 125-1. But ends up cashing the top 10 at the end of the day. So shout out to Riley Herbst for hitting that bet for us.
Yeah, he actually, so he's one of those guys where I would say if he would, the way he ran, he actually had a really good race too. Because then Danny's saying, all I learned tonight is Hocevar is a badass and KFB is just an ass. I think you got that mixed up.
Danny. Oh, good to see you, buddy. Hey,
welcome to the chat.
Recaps are back. You got your wish, buddy.
Yeah, man. So here we are. Jake saying, Jake here, one half of the Broken Wheel Bearing podcast. Make sure you go check them out too.
Yeah,
great stuff. Great race today. Awesome finish. Love listening to you guys. Thank you so much, Jake. Thanks for listening to us as well.
It was.
Hunter,
like Brian said earlier, maybe the best Gen 7 race ever in the 500. So love it.
I feel like that. Yeah, Hunter, he's stating the obvious. Rod really hates Carson. And then Dirty Rex saying Cody really loves him. That's the dynamic on this show. That's where you're going to get. You're going to get the one half of it and the other.
And it's just going to exacerbate itself from here out. Plus, we're going to Atlanta next, which Carson should have won that race last spring. He will be the cover boy on the program because I'm making the program. And and we're going to be talking a lot about Carson Hocevar next week. We're going to be talking, unless he gives us a reason not to, which he did not today, we're going to be talking a lot about Carson Hocevar this year. So that's just going to be the running bit, is how much I love him, how much Rod hates him. And I think my love for him pushes Rod to hate him more. Rod's hate for him pushes me to love him more. And so it's made a beautiful thing.
That's, somebody asked us in the I think it was in the Discord why, and I said, well, yeah, like you said, it's really because you love him so much. I have to just counterweight that one at this point.
That's how far it got. Yes.
If I ever talk to him at a race, like if I ever just actually walk up and say something, it's not going to be mean. Like I don't hate people just to hate people. Like this is all a bit at this point. But all right. Let's get into some of my top 10s and top 20s. John Hunter Nemechek, top 10 plus 300. Boy, John Hunter was looking really good for most of this race, wasn't he? Man, he was so good. He could have won this race a couple of times. Oh, wait, he didn't. He finished in 26. And I'm going to tell you right now, I will own up to the fact that was not a good move on his part to get caught up in that mix either. So
no, that was wrong place, wrong time. He was just on the bottom side when Allgaier came down. There was nothing he could have done there. There probably, if I had to give an award out for most impressive performance today, just overall throughout the race, John Hunter might be that guy. He clearly showed he could lead the draft, lead the pack. He could work well with guys up front there. He continued to show us why he's been so good. And this is off the tails of looking extremely good, having a shot to win the truck race Friday night, by the way, and looked good in that. Certainly a guy we're going to continue to talk about on these types of tracks, because it was very impressive, again, from what we saw from John Hunter. Wrong place at the wrong time. Allgaier just came down into him after he decided to block half the field and take them all out. But, man, he looked really, really good.
Hey, I tell you, that's exactly what it was. And they brought it up on the broadcast, too, that he had the best average finish. Now, granted, a couple of less races more than a lot of people. But, again, when you run up front, you run up front. And that's just the way John Hunter Nemechek rolls. And at 3-1 for a truck or a car that probably could, and a truck that could have probably ended up finishing top 10 at the end of the night. I love it. Jimmie Johnson, God, my heart said top 20. Remember, I told you everybody top 20. He was running 18th, 17th, and then he got kind of piled up in that last. He didn't get hit. And in fact, he had to even come back from adversity early on to be in the mix. He was a top 10 car for just a little bit.
Rookie mistake getting on the pit road that first stop.
Man, I'm telling you. Well, I mean, listen, this is his second to last. He's going to do it one more time.
I know. What sad news, Rod? 2 more attempts from, if you didn't hear the news, Jimmie Johnson will be racing in San Diego, of course, his home track. He's going to run the truck race there as well, on that, naval base course that we're going to ride on. But then next year's Daytona 500 will be his final attempt, sadly. So hopefully he'll, I don't know if he's already applied for that open exemption provisional, who knows, but hopefully he'll be in the race and we'll get one final chance to see Mr. 7-time.
Probably sent an email already. I'm expressing my interest in the 2027 Daytona 500. Please hold a spot for me.
There's no way they can't lock him into that being his final. Like, you don't want his final attempt to be him not qualifying. There's zero chance NASCAR lets that happen.
Exactly. Love Jimmie Johnson. Anyways, he didn't finish top 10. He didn't finish top 20, even though I gave it out on VSiN with 100% certainty that was going to happen. But unfortunately, but listen, man, Jimmie did well to ride around and not get into too much trouble after he had his little mistake. Was at the bottom line during all of it. Pit stops kind of screwed everybody, and it kind of screwed him as well. Cousin Danny, though, asking the question that I think everybody's asking, and we did ask in the Discord too, why exactly isn't Heim out there collecting another Trucks trophy? Doesn't have a full-time ride in Cups. Politics, my friend.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that a lot of people...
Yeah, I don't even fully understand it. It seems to me like Toyota's really just fumbling the bag there. Now, he appears to be the driver and waiting for the 35 next year. I'm sure they've already got that deal done behind the scenes or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. We're going to see him this weekend. Like, he'll be in the truck race at Atlanta, and we'll see him throughout the year on that. Maybe we get some O'Reilly starts. I don't know, but I think it's 12 or 13 Cup starts. So we're at least getting our feet wet there. Honestly, I think when we get to the more quote unquote normal tracks, we're going to be more impressed with Corey Heim and what he does this year in a Cup ride than we are with Connor Zilich on your traditional oval tracks. That'll be my bold prediction now, Rob.
I agree. All right, Cody, let's continue down the betting card.
Yes, let's do so. Corey Lajoie, top 5, top board. Unfortunately, doesn't make the race, but look, I mean, couldn't have been any closer, right? 0.0004 seconds away from Allgaier's time in single car qualifying, literally that close. And then on the last lap in the duel, he's easily, 20 spots ahead of Alfredo or Mears, I guess it was, and easily going to make it. Gets caught up in somebody else's mess in the wreck and doesn't make it, unfortunately. So just a sad deal there. But that's racing. That's how it goes. So he doesn't make it, obviously. Chris Buescher, top 4 at 10-1. Felt good about this kind of throughout the race. He looked good. At times ends up finishing 7th. So, I would take that bet again. But doesn't cash. Zane Smith at 18-1. Oh my God, this was for sure going to cash, right? He was the guy pushing Chase Elliott. Like, Chase Elliott's going to win. We're going to cash that bet. Zane Smith's going to win. We're going to cash top 4. Things were just looking great. And then they weren't looking great. He was part of the Riley Herbst incident there as we came to the line. Logano got past him. Keselowski got past him in the Ford market. So unfortunately didn't cash these, but Zane proved like you win stage 1 there at the end of the race with a shot. That's what we were looking for. Buescher looked good throughout the day. He, after starting in the back, I believe he was in a backup car even, finding his way through and getting up there, had shots where you thought maybe he was going to be one of the favorites to win. RFK certainly had control for a bit up there. So didn't cash these ones, but I feel like they were decent bets to make.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you saw Zane Smith win the stage, that had every right to think that he could probably do this again. He did fight his way back up late too, and with Buescher, those RFK guys, and the broadcast even said it, right? These RFK guys are dictating the entirety of the race, and so yeah, it's not hard pressed to think that either one of those could have happened. So yeah, not bad bets at all. Oh, how about Heartbreak for our Bubba Wallace top 5? This was a plus 375. This one had a chance of going. Unfortunately, Bubba finishes in 10th on those last lap shenanigans. And man, it's so tough because when you're leading the race and when you're in control of the race, you think you've got this handled, right? And how many drivers, especially the last couple of laps, had the lead only to find themselves not have the lead again? And that was Bubba Wallace, right? He picked the wrong line and then got swallowed up. And it was rough. And Bubba was a solid top 5 car for the better part of the last, 15, 20, 25 laps. I can't count very high, but there was a lot of laps that he was in front, right? And dictating, especially before those last pit stops where he was the one that was pretty much dictating the pace and how everybody was going. So for a guy that led as many laps as Bubba Wallace had, you would hope that he would still finish top 5. Unfortunately, he was 5 spots short of that. And then Bowman top 5, just an early mix up with Bowman, got caught up in one of the big ones, and that's the last we saw of Bowman. So his story ended in 40th position, down several laps. 77 laps he was down.
Yeah, he got caught up and taken out, so there wasn't much to do there. But yeah, that's again super speedway racing. That's what we tell you will happen. Bubba looked very, very impressive. I'd absolutely make that bet again if I was you. Top Toyota. Look, the reason you bet these is because the top Toyota in the O'Reilly race finished 27th place, Rod. 27th. You could hit this there. So obviously Tyler Reddick wins this race. We didn't have him. I had John Hunter, Nemechek, Jimmie Johnson. We've talked about both of those guys and the struggles they had. But you take them for that reason. Riley Herbst was similarly a long shot. He's the next best Toyota in 8th place. So wasn't far out of the question. Yes, Reddick wins, but what if Reddick is Hocevar there at the end? Suddenly Herbst is now the top Toyota, that type of thing. And then I just took a long shot on top Chevy, Ty Dillon at 40-1. And, Stenhouse, I guess, finishes second, Elliott 4th, but William Byron was the next best Chevy in 12th. So wouldn't have been crazy for a Ty Dillon who finished 14th, the 5th finishing Toyota on the day, to finish 2 spots better. He would have beat William Byron. And then if Elliott and Stenhouse weren't up in front of him, it definitely could have cashed. So long shot, yeah, but there's a reason you take it. That's the reason. Had a solid day. I saw somebody ask earlier who my one and done play was this week, and went with Ty Dillon, who we talked about on the preseason, in the 36 for 36. He's the guy we took. I rode with him. 14th place finish at Daytona from a Ty Dillon. Absolutely take that.
Oh, 100% you take that, because everybody else above him, with maybe the exception of Noah Gragson, is somebody that you probably use at another racetrack. So, and maybe Ricky Stenhouse as well. But yeah, that was a huge play. 14th out of Ty Dillon, because you're probably not gonna get that again unless it's another super speedway out of Ty Dillon. But yeah, good one and done pick.
By the way, Ty Dillon, next week's Ram free agent driver, if you hadn't seen the announcement, Rod. So he will be in the 25 truck for Ram, which, you obviously you have that Chevy Ram thing where he's a Chevy driver in Cup, but they're going to be going to Ram next year. So clearly they don't care. Or well, I guess we don't know that they're going to Ram next year, but it's assumed soon they'll be going to Ram.
I know we're recapping just the overall Cup race, right, from this weekend, but how cool was it to see Ram out there in the Truck Series again?
It was great.
Yeah.
I really hope that's not the last time we see Tony Stewart, because that was a lot of fun too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was great to see Ram out there, have 4 manufacturers out there. The more manufacturers have, the better racing gets. That's always been the case. It always will be the case, because they're all competing against each other. So I hope we continue to see, that Ram grow in the Truck Series, and then move up into O'Reilly into Cup Series as well, because I think that would be great.
Indeed. All right. That leads kind of into that doesn't lead into my next bet. I'll lead into my next bet, which was, so we talked a lot about guys hanging back, right? And choosing their spots and being in the right place at the right time at the end of the race. That's what I was banking on when it came to the average running position of the winner of the race. And I had 15.5 was the number I took the over. So higher than essentially 15.5. Tyler Reddick, average running position of the race, 17.9. Cha-ching, baby. Again, this was just leaning into first of all, it was plus money. And look, Carson Hocevar would have cashed that too. So I will tell you this. I would have given him all the props in the world for cashing this bet had he cashed this bet. Thankfully he didn't, so I didn't have to do it. But for Tyler Reddick, 17.9 was his average running position. And, again, a lot of times it just comes down to the guy that's waiting and biding his time, maybe not in 30th position.
No, would you say Tyler Reddick had a good race, Rob?
No, I wouldn't. I would absolutely say he had a horrible race, but he won. So,
You only answered that question because of your Carson Hocevar bias.
You're damn
he
right.
won the Daytona 500. Of course he had a good race.
Of course he had a great race. But here's the thing, right? He had a great race because he was in the right place at the right time and did not get caught up in the mix, because he did not try to block somebody in the wrong way. He actually raced properly and not in a way that he's just shooting off fireworks from the back of his truck. But good job, Tyler Reddick, for cashing this average running position bet for us at plus 100.
I'd like to see you shoot off fireworks in the back of your truck, Rod.
I don't have a truck, Cody. Joke's on you.
I took the winning car number under 19.5. Obviously, that doesn't cash. The first 3 drivers actually all were over. Chase Elliott, though, there was a pretty good shot he was going to win on that last lap. You'd have felt good about that. Keselowski ended up in there. Really, though, the top 10 was loaded with drivers over this number. So interesting how it kind of shook out at the end. But these are the types of bets where, again, you take one side, you take the other. You can make a strong case for either side. I went with the under because you do get a lot of strong drivers there. And it just didn't cash. And it's super speedway betting. That's just how these things go. That's one of those ones where you want the sweat at the end, and Chase Elliott gave you that sweat. Unfortunately, doesn't cash, but that's how she goes.
Indeed. I had under 7.5 cautions. That was a minus 115 bet. 5 cautions in this race. And I said,
that's so crazy.
Isn't it?
There were 3 hours worth of caution laps, but only 5 cautions. It's great. Like, and you get that early one. BJ McLeod wrecks on, what was that, lap 8 or so? I mean, it was so early into the race. The tire just, I don't think they even put it on. But it just like, yeah. And then to only have 5 cautions throughout the day, obviously not getting to the overtime, which we talked about, it felt like it was a lot more. But even with your built-in 2, 3, there was only 3 for cause, Rod.
Wow. That was
crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said that
was the BJ wreck and then the 2 big ones. I guess that was all we had. So
yeah.
All right. Well,
that's what you get for 3 wide fuel saving. But see, this is why I'm saying, this is why I said I didn't think there was going to be that many cautions, because there's the points of the race where these guys just settle in and they just tick off laps, and there's no real urge until the end of the stages to get squirrely. And so, yeah, I definitely, I did not see a huge, now granted, that first one made me go,
oh boy,
aren't we?
Yeah, it felt like that way, because just everything about this week felt like it was going to be chaotic, and we did get 2 big wrecks, so that certainly brought the chaos. But yeah, great job, great call by you on this. You had the data to back it up, and clearly you easily hit it. I mean, you could have had 2 more cautions and still went under this. So great hit by you. Carson Hocevar car lift. Look, if you guys bet on this, you had the sweat until the very end. He's leading on the last lap. There's not much more I can give you. You can put holes in it like Rod wants to. He wasn't running up there, whatever you want to say. But, I mean, he was leading on the last lap of the Daytona 500. We could have easily cashed every leg of this. Top 10 at 2-1 was looking amazing. Top 5 at 6-1 was great. He would have been the top Chevy at 12-1. He'd have won the race at 38-1. Imagine the tune on the show had he been able to hold on, had Eric Jones not inexplicably just dumped everyone, unfortunately. But I would absolutely place this bet again. So much so, it might just be next week's car lift again, Rod. We'll have to see.
Carson Hocevar is an American stock car driver. No, I'm just kidding. Cousin Danny saying Carson Hocevar almost won the Coke 600 and the Daytona 500. I almost won the Coke 600 and the Daytona 500. Guess what we have in common?
He was leading on the last lap. If you can't say that's almost winning it, that's yes. No, it doesn't count as a win. Fine. He's in his, 3rd year in the series? 2nd? Is he? I don't even know what year. It doesn't matter. He's very young. And he almost won the Daytona 500 already, much like his predecessor in the 3 car. Almost won it multiple times before he got there. It'll be fine.
Guess what all of us have in common in this room? None of us have won the Daytona 500. So then we're all the same at this point. It doesn't even matter.
So Carson Hocevar, as good as Tony Stewart. You heard it from Rod's lips right here on the show.
You're putting words into my mouth. All right, I had winning car number between 19 and 28. Again, this was just another spitball one that gave us a lot of good drivers in the mix, up to and including what was not going to be the 3-time champion. Boy, the racing gods made sure that there was not going to be a 3-peat with the Daytona.
There's just no way the script could handle 3 in a row from the 24 car.
The computer was blowing up from people trying to write that script. They're like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? Unfortunately, Tyler Reddick was the winner. Well, not unfortunately for him, obviously for us, for the bet. Logano was in 3rd, though, with a 22. And then we had Chris Buescher, which was not one of those, but Josh Berry was 9th. Bubba Wallace was 10th. So we had a couple of bullets in the chamber. Unfortunately, it just did not work.
Yeah, and that's how it goes, Rod. I feel great about the outright card, honestly. Not a lot I would change. I mean, we were very close on many of these, and that's what you're looking for. It's super speedway racing. That's how it goes. We've already talked many times about how the outrights are the hardest market to bet in NASCAR in the Cup Series. So Chase Elliott at 16-1, I mean, it looked like he had it in the bag. Like, it really did. Once the chaos cleared, he jumps out. He's got the lead. It's going to be almost impossible for anybody to get a run because there's no cars, there's no pack to push them, right? And then obviously Riley got hooked up with Tyler, and that's what did it. but 16-1, you felt like this was going to cash. Kyle Busch 22-1. This was down to 9-1 this morning. So a little CLV there, which is always nice. Starts on the pole, clearly has a fast car. Looked decent throughout the day, right? He was up mixing it up with the leaders for a while. The fuel thing was dumb. He did get some damage on, was it the first wreck? I think he sort of bounced off the wall on, well, not the very first one, but the first big one, quote unquote. Bounced off the wall. I don't know if that hurt the car maybe a little bit, but Lajoie obviously didn't make the race, so there's that. But had he been in there was RFK cars up there at the end. Had there been another RFK car in the field, could have made all the difference, certainly. Ty Gibbs at 50-1. He got wrong place, wrong time. There wasn't a lot to be impressed about, but he got caught up in it. I'm not going to look into that too much. I'm not too worried about it. Allmendinger is the one where, again, I didn't know he was in the race after lap 16, so maybe that was a bad one. Now, was that partially because he hurt his hand in the dual wreck? I don't know. 65-1, whatever. Riley Herbst at 125-1, though. Dude was second place on the last lap, Rod. Like, again, I can't get you much closer than that. So none of them cashed, but Super Speedway betting, we had the sweat. We had many chances. And then Hocevar obviously was part of that all with the car lift too. So I had two of the guys that were leading on the last lap at 16-1 and 38-1. I can't get you a lot closer than that, Rod.
I would have been way more excited about a Riley Herbst win than a Carson.
Oh my gosh. For sure. Can you imagine just like if he starts pushing Tyler and Tyler gets squirrely or something, and then just the C's part and Riley just whoop right through there? 125. Oh my God.
We would not have shut up about it the entirety of this season. So.
I would not have been able to hit that live button faster.
Indeed. We see you, Frank. We'll get to you in a second. Let me just go over my outrights real quick. Brian Blaney. Yeah, he had his points. He had his spots. Unfortunately, I think that last set of pit stops sort of screwed everybody in that mix. Justin Allgaier screwed himself. And then Jimmie Johnson, I didn't give him out for real, but I think I kind of gave him out for real. So it was a matter of
the car was fast.
Leading the race.
He looked good. One boneheaded mistake. I mean, that was a very bad mistake. But other than that, he looked like he was going to be in the mix throughout the day. They wanted to be more aggressive. He certainly was. Maybe a little bit too far. Maybe we need to find a happy medium there. But I don't think that was bad outright by any means. And Blaney looked good throughout the entire day, as he generally does. One of those guys that, as good of a super speedway guy as he is, Harley keeps avoiding him, Rod. But Frank the Tank, the newest owner of a racing gambling podcast hoodie. Congratulations, sir. If you didn't hear earlier, one of the random winners in the contest. So we'll be getting your information soon. But Frank, you're on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Good to hear from you.
Oh, shit. Oh, damn. That's news to me. Oh, cool. Thank you, man. Quick, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We can.
Oh, cool. Oh, no, damn, boys. Oh, man, I just sat down to eat. I've been working all day. My wife and kids are out of town for 2 days, and my wife has, like, no shit, like, at least, like, 400 books, and they're just stacked up between, like, these two, like, janky-ass bookshelves. She's been begging me to build bookshelves, so, like, you know what? The race is on. Let me go to Home Depot, get all the stuff I need. I'll put it on in the bedroom. Got to watch the whole entire race as I built these shelves throughout the day.
Hell yeah.
Guys, last night I have Michael McDowell outright, and he just decides to just dive bomb and just, let me just try to get in first place right away, even though I have a whole nother lap to go. And then Hocevar today, just it's like it's back to back nights. Guys, just rips my heart out. But I got that feeling. I got that rush of a race. I've bet on horses before. I've bet on F1, but it was right there, man. It's like when you have a guy right there at the end, 2-3 laps to go. It's right there. But just to see, they just freaking lose control out of nowhere. Like, come on, man. It was close though. It was close. Very fun. Glad the weather held out and they was able to get the race in. They, was able to bump it up a little bit. Fun race. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Anyway, it's kind of my take on the race.
Good stuff. No, hey, listen, welcome to NASCAR. I know this is your first season pretty much paying attention to NASCAR, but I mean, welcome to it. And what an indoctrination, my friend. Not only did you build a shelf, Frank, but you got yourself a nice little hoodie to a Racing Gambling Podcast hoodie to sport when you're out there at Home Depot next.
Oh, cool, man. Thank you, guys. I was actually thinking about building like almost how we do like ladder bets. That's kind of how I built like the shelves. So I was like build like a ladder shelf, you know, as I was watching the race. But I actually hit. Thank you. I hit Riley Hearst top 10. I had 3/4 of a unit on that. So that was a nice little cash. And then like a few of the head-to-heads hit. So that always kind of like balances out some of these long shot outright winners. So again, I just try to treat them like first touchdown bets. Not to go too crazy on it. I went a little overboard on the Super Bowl. I didn't want to do that again, like on the Daytona. So I did about maybe half of what I allowed myself to do on the Super Bowl, and it wasn't too bad. Wish I would have done a little bit better on some of the more the top fives I decided to go with. But hey, man, that's racing. So
especially at Super Speedway.
Especially at Super Speedway, absolutely. But
yeah, looking forward to like your analysis, like going into. I'm assuming Atlanta's next week. That's always like the second week, right? Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be a lot.
So obviously, that's a super speedway as well. So I mean, I don't know if some of these cars, a lot of these guys, going to be running like the same setups and going to tweak things, obviously. But if it's another drafting track, I assume it's going to be a lot of the similar guys out front. You know.
Yeah. There's a lot of takeaways. It's a little bit different because it's a smaller track, 1.5 miles compared to 2. We are starting to get tire wear there in that hot Atlanta sun. So definitely, I mean, we'll break it all down next week, obviously, but it's changes a little bit in more handling, maybe less. It seems less chaotic, less throw darts like a Daytona, but you're still going to get the super speedway aspect of the big wrecks, the chaos. So it's a little bit of a mixture of.
That's what they're saying today about They were saying that today about the Toyotas. About it was so damn windy out there, but the Toyotas were the ones that were actually able to handle. They were able to battle the wind a little bit better, you know. So maybe that's something to keep an eye on too.
Yeah, that certainly might come into play next week when we have more of a tire wear battle and a track where you have to handle a little better.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, well, listen, I'm gonna finish eating while you do the rest of the show. Actually I forgot you guys were even gonna go live, so I was like, wait, oh damn it, the race has been over. So I'm like, oh, please tell. I hope they're still live. I hopped on Discord, saw you guys were. So anyway, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate the podcast so much and everything, all the shows, other shows SGPN does. So anyway, guys, let it ride.
All right. Enjoy dinner. I will definitely do that as soon as the show is over. But yeah, Cody, listen, boy, I tell you, the call, look, we're 5 seasons in now, Cody. This caller thing has got me feeling like I'm a kindergartner again, where I have finger paints. Like I'm all excited about doing these things.
Yeah, it's next level. Thanks guys for everybody that called in today. And if you're listening to this, you're starting to get into the show, whatever, get ready to call some of these shows. You're gonna have your takes you want to share for sure. So we definitely would love to have more callers as we continue on. And so excited to have the recap back this year. It's been something we've missed since it went away, and we're glad that it worked out to be able to get it back. Being able to add you guys, not only take your comments but also take your calls. Such a great addition, and we're looking forward to it for the rest of the year.
Agree. Ricardo Pimenta, 1905, saying get ready for the parlays in 2026.
Ricardo's our parlay guy. Let's go.
Parlay. I can't wait for that. All right. Well, that was it, Cody. We covered the card. We took the calls. We recapped the race. We had a Daytona 500. We are back, my friend. Racing is back.
So back. And it was overall a great race. Thought everything went really well. So super excited. I haven't seen an official standings update just yet, Rod, but I would imagine if the chase started today that Carson Hocevar would be in it. So I would just like to say congratulations to him for being a current chase contestant, and excited to talk about him more at the track he got robbed last year of a win and will be seeking revenge for.
Follow me on Twitter. No, I'm just kidding. Not going to. Cousin Danny asked if we discussed Miss Decker yet. We haven't. We're not recapping the other series, unfortunately, but I don't know. I don't. Okay, look, here's my official take.
First of all, how are you mad that a guy slides back up the track thinking that's his fault? Like, there's no control left over the car at that point in time. Maybe slow down when there's a wreck. That would be an idea. I don't know. Look, we both have daughters, and having women that are in racing and continuing to get opportunities is great. Love to see it. She's clearly got some more stuff she needs to work on. The brake pedal's on the left. Good start, I guess. I don't know.
Here's what this is where I'm at in this. Okay. So clearly they've done more in the sport of racing than I will ever have done. She's achieved levels that I'll never ever achieve. I sit here and I just talk on a microphone. That's what I do, right? That's all I do. I'm never going to be out there racing a race car. So I don't know what that's like. But if I see a semi truck slamming its brakes in front of me, and okay, you can't see brake lights, but if I see it slowing down enough, I'm going to hit my brakes, right? I don't know. Like, I know your spotters in your ear saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. And you feel like you're whoa, whoa, whoaing enough, but that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Cause I'm not in it. So I can't judge it. But
I mean, there's a part of it where, if the wreck's happening underneath, you do want to try and sneak around on the top as quick as you can. And he just slid back up, blaming him in the moment. Again, he did like, oh my God, what happened? I get it. It was a hard hit. Clearly she said right away, that's one of the hardest hits she's ever had. So certainly that's going to rattle you.
I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from it is just the blame game. Like I can't stand it when they automatically want to blame people for things. And it's just like, no, take a deep breath, watch the replay and go, oh, okay.
Eric Jones certainly does need to be blamed for causing that wreck, but she should also not blame Sam Mayer for rolling around on the track with no tires and a completely destroyed race car.
I know, I'm just kidding. I was like, all right, Cody, just tell everybody where they can find you so we get the hell out of here. Fortune checking in real quick. They'll want to say hi, Fortune. Toyota plus 275. Look at you. Good job.
Good cash. Good hit for you there. Only the fourth Daytona 500 win for
Drought.
For them. So
Drought.
And Kelly, great way to wrap up the show. Jumping in, searching for profit, Rod. I'm late, boys, but Hocevar's gonna win the championship this year. Boom. Kelly said it better than anybody else could. Carson Hocevar, ride the Dente all the way to the championship. There's a good chance we're riding the car lift back next week after what we saw today, after what we saw last year at Atlanta. Stay tuned certainly next week, Rod. And we'll be back Tuesday live over on the YouTube, giving out our Cup Series picks for Atlanta. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the bell so you don't miss us live. Of course, you can jump in the chat during the pick shows. We'll be live once again after Atlanta, recapping, taking your calls just like we did today. All right, Rod, any other thoughts on the Daytona 500? Again, congratulations to Michael Jordan, Daytona 500 champion. I don't know if you heard the interview where she asked him what his ring size was, and he immediately responded 13. Of course, he knows what his ring size is. He's the GOAT. But yeah, he's ready. Just beautiful. Congrats to him. Congrats to Tyler Reddick, of course, as the Daytona 500 champion. And Denny Hamlin adds a fourth. Harley J. Harley. God damn it. I really fucked that up. Harley J. Earl trophy to his collection, first as an owner.
Earl Grey trophy is the T. All right, Cody. Well, then let everyone know where they can find you out there. Oh, look at you.
I did sport the Hocevar shirt today, but Kelly's going to have you wearing the Hocevar glasses if he does win. So we'll hope for that. All right, Rod, let's get out of here. Follow me over on the X at @Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. Now that the Daytona 500 is in the books, I'm going to be setting up the IndyCar and F1 fantasy leagues. So, stay tuned. I'll have all that info over there. Those are all coming up soon as well, and we love all sorts of racing around here. Follow the show at NASCAR Gambling. Congrats again to all the winners from the Daytona 500 contest. We will be in contact. See you guys next week for never mind. Atlanta. I was going to try, and I didn't. I should have thought of it ahead of time.
It's
for
the
Hocevar. I don't know.
Atlanta
VAR. We'll see you next week for Atlanta VAR.
It's the 800th episode of The Simpsons, so it's like the cake. You tried. Bart Simpson saying, you tried. I get that. All right, follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. You can find everything that I'm up to including all kinds of random appearances on several different shows. Welcome to NASCAR season, baby. So happy to have you with us on the recap episodes. This was such an exciting episode for everybody that called in. Make sure you call in during Atlanta. We'll love to take your calls then. So, all right, we'll see you in a couple of days with Atlanta. So until then, let's go racing and join us on our never-ending quest to make NASCAR betting fun again and let it ride.